মোবাইলটা দিলে ঠিক আছে না খুললে এর তো হচ্ছে এর তো মেন হচ্ছে আমার সিটি প্রজেক্ট উঠেছিল
Hello, good morning, sir. Abhishek, sir, are you there? Hello, Abhishek, sir, are you there? Hello, Abhishek, sir, are you there? Hello, hello, Abhishek, sir, am I audible? Hello, am I audible? Abhishek, sir? Huh? Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Abhishek, sir, are you there? Hello, good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Hello.
Abhishek, sir. Am I audible?
Audible. My voice is clear. So
Yeah.
my voice is clear.
Yeah, your voice is clear. Am I clear here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sir. So I'm going to start in 10 minutes.
Okay. The video.
Okay.
My
Yeah, from my side it is clear.
video is also visible.
Pardon, sir?
Video is visible.
Yeah, it's visible and clear also.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
As soon as join, I'll call my CMD. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କ ଶୁଣେ ପବ୍ଲିକ ମଧ୍ୟ ଶୁଣ
to be either a successful person in the businessman or an entrepreneur. One must think out of the box. With stiff competition, there is an increasing need to protect the rights of such entrepreneurs and innovators from duplication of unfair use. And therefore, there is a rising demand for the protection of intellectual property around the world. The World Intellectual Property Organization defines intellectual property as creation of mind, such as invention, literary and artistic works, designs, symbols, names, images used in commerce. In simple words, anything that you create by applying your mind or your intellect becomes your intellectual property. For example, you're setting a business of your own and have designed a logo of your own brand. That logo is your intellectual property. Similarly, a scientific invention is also an intellectual property. Ideas in your mind have no patent value. They must be expressed or reduced to practice before it is too late. A very warm welcome and very warm good morning to all of you. I, Ganesha Prishti, feel privileged to extend a warm welcome to all present over here for the World Intellectual Property Day special ceremony and national conference on innovation, intellectual property rights, and entrepreneurship in collaboration with National Research Development Corporation, NRDC, sponsored by ISTE, Indian Society of Technical Education, and Institute of Engineers. The theme of World's Intellectual Property Day 2022 is IP and Youth, Innovating for a Better Future. To begin the program, I will humbly request all the dignitaries to kindly come on the dais. I am immensely pleased to welcome Dr. Chandra Dhwaj Panda, Sir, Vice President, GIET University, to please come on the dais. I will request Dr. Jagannadha Rao, Sir, GIET University, please come on the stage. I'll extend a warm welcome to Dr. Sujit Pruseth, Sir, former Professor, Indian Institute of Public Administration, IIPA, Govt of India, New Delhi. I'll extend a warm welcome to Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu, Sir, RM Head, NRDC Vipo Technology Innovation and Center. I welcome Dr. Manoj Das, Sir, Professor in Charge, GIET University IPR Cell. Dr. Tushar Panda, Sir, Professor in Charge, GIET University Innovation Hub. Flowers are the bounty of nature, which express humility and tenderness of human emotions. They reflect both warmth and welcome. I will request our beloved students to kindly present the flower bouquet to our eminent personalities as an expression of affection and reverence. Okay. So, thank you all of you. Vakratunda Mahakaya, Suryakoti Samaprabha, Nirvignam Kurumideva Suryakarya Susu Sarvada. It is the mark of undying tradition to involve the Almighty at the beginning of any of the important event. Let us start the morning by lighting the lamp in front of Lord Ganesha. I will request all the dignitaries to kindly lit up the lamp. Thank you. May the divine power bless us all. Now, I would request Dr. Tushar Panda sir, Professor in charge, GIET University Innovation Hub, to please deliver the welcome address. Please, sir.
A very good morning to one and all present here. Honorable President, GIET University, Honorable Vice President, GIET University, Esteemed Registrar, GIET University. Today's guest of honor, Dr. Mohit Gambhir, sir, Innovation Director, Ministry of Education, Govt of India, will be joining us in online mode from Copenhagen, Denmark. Dr. Bajoe Wibowo, Counselor, World IP Organization, Geneva. He will be also joining. He is also in online mode from Geneva. Dr. Okay. Mr. Ravi Iswarapu, Head and CEO, Incubation Center, Andhra University. He is also in online mode with us today. Commodore Amit Rastogi, Chairman and Managing Director, NRDC, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India, New Delhi. Dr. Sujit Pruseth, former Professor, Indian Institute of Public Administration, Government of India, New Delhi. Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu, Regional Manager and Head, People Technology Innovation Center, TISC. Guests, keynote speakers, Dean of Schools, heads of the departments, faculties, authors, students, and the persons from media. I, Dr. Tushar Panda, Professor in charge of GIET University, take the pride and pleasure to welcome you on the eve of World Intellectual Property Day special ceremony. As you all are aware, the Government of India has launched a 75-week-long campaign, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, to celebrate the achievements of the country and its people. As a part of this campaign, the World IP Day special ceremony is being celebrated along with the National Conference on Innovation, Intellectual Property Rights, and Entrepreneurship on the theme of IP and Youth Innovating for a Better Future. This grand international event is being organized by GIET University in collaboration with NRDC to mark the importance of intellectual property rights in this 21st century, which is now moving more towards a knowledge-based economy. Protection of IP not only provides exclusive rights to the owner or creator to safeguard his commercial interest, but also flow of knowledge, stimulate investment in research and development, brings competition, and ensure faster economic growth. More about this will be discussed by our delegates in the upcoming session. The national conference, this national conference has received total 47 number of manuscripts from different universities and organizations, and each manuscript has been reviewed at least by 2 reviewers in a standard peer review process based on the recommendation by 2 independent reviewers. Finally, 23 numbers of manuscripts have been selected for presentation. The accepted papers presented in this conference will be invited to submit extended version of their manuscript in the to be considered in ACA's transaction and SPAST Foundation. The technical sponsors of this conference are the Indian Society of Technical Education Chapter, GIET University, Gunupur, and Institute of Engineers Chapter, GIET University, Gunupur. We are thankful to our esteemed President, Vice President, Director General, Registrar, Dean Academics, COE, all the deans, all the HODs, coordinators, students, all key functionaries, and media for their valuable support for organizing this conference. And my speech will be incomplete if I didn't mention this. Huge thanks to NRDC for the wholehearted support in organizing this program. I encourage all the authors and participants to make their active presence in the technical session, which will be conducted in the afternoon session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Rao is a versatile personality and thought leader with more than 25 years of administrative experience across various areas in addition to exciting profile. He has a strong moral character, integrity in handling university policies, and his leadership abilities is an imperative for effective supervision. For last 22 years, his main motive is to help the students in both academic as well as non-academic problems and to counsel them in shaping to be a worthy in present market conditions, which helps in both the students as well as for the university. I request Dr. Bijay Rao, sir, Registrar GIET University, to please address the gathering. Please, sir.
Good morning, one and all. Respected President sir, respected Vice President sir, Dr. Mohit Gambhir, Innovation Director, Ministry of Education, Dr. Bajoe Wibowo, WIPO Geneva, Dr. Ravi Iswarapu, HOD CEO, Incubation Center, Andhra University, Commodore Dr. Amit Rastogi ji, Chairman and Managing Director, NRDC, Dr. Sujit Pruseth sir, former Professor, Indian Institute of Public Administration, INCIIPRE, Govt of India, Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu, RM and Head, WIPO Technology, Innovation Center, Dr. Tushar Panda, Dr. Manoj Das, my dear colleagues, and my dear students, friends, press media and print media. So, a very warm welcome to all of you for this World IP Day special conference on innovation, intellectual property, rights, and entrepreneurship, which we are going to celebrate today. So, before starting this session, I would like to just give you a brief details of the university, how we have started. So we started as a college in 1997 with engineering. So in the process, we got a lot of accreditations from NB and also NAC from time to time. And we became autonomous status in 2017. And at the same year, we have started BS Agriculture course also. So because of our all-round excellence in all facets, Government of Odisha has declared us as university, now which we are enjoying. So once we became university means we have a lot of challenges. So we cannot concentrate only on academics, we have to strive hard for the R&D activities also. So we have been touching each and every part of the nation as well as globe to reach the top positions. And in the process, we got approval from AICTE as well as UGC, and we have become a member in Association of Indian Universities. As I told you already, we got accreditation and we have been enjoying NBA accreditation since 2005 onwards for 6 branches, 6 programs. And we had NAC also with A+ grade. Recognized by DSIR, Government of India, since 2011 for best R&D activities. Received Best University Award in Eastern India for placements in Asia Education Summit Awards 2020 at Vigyan Bhavan, New Delhi. Once again, GIET is awarded with the Best University Innovation and Campus Placement in Eastern India during 2020-21. awarded Best Disciplined University for Academics and Ambience by News India Top Gallery Media, ranked between 26 to 50 category of university and deemed to be university private self-financed in Atal ranking of institutions on innovation achievement, ARIIA 2020. Similarly, in 2021, we have been categorized in the band excellent under the category university and deemed university private self-financed technical, again by ARIIA, Government of India Organization 2021. We have successfully hosted the prestigious Smart India Hackathon in 2020 on behalf of Government of India. Successfully hosted the prestigious Toycathon 2021 on behalf of AICT, MHRD, Ministry of Education. Bagged winners of Toycathon 2021 Digital Edition under theme Divyang, Team Nature Infinity. Received award from SHM Kolkata for Best University in Rural Area for excellence and contribution to the education sector. Reached final round in Chhatra Vishwakarma Award for Best Innovation organized by AICT twice in 2017 and also 2021. Remote Center of NME ICT, IIT Mumbai. Remote Center of Spoken Tutorial, IIT Bombay. Remote Center E&ICT Academy, NIT Patna. And we have become Swayam NPTEL chapter. Nodal Center of IIRS ISRO, Dehradun. Nodal Center of Virtual Labs, IIT Kharagpur. And we have made a lot of MOUs with foreign universities, Indian institutions as academic partners, training partners, and industry partners to get excellence in the education. Organized 7 international conferences virtually during the pandemic period. We got District Green Champion 2020-21 award is bestowed on GIET University by Ministry of Education, Government of India under Swachhata Action Plan 2020-21. Industry collaboration for training and placement with the TCS, IBM, Infosys, Wipro, Cavision, etc. We are having 15 BTech, 10 MTech, BS Agriculture, MCA, BCA, MBA, BBA, MSc, MA, PhD with good R&D infra, digital library, entrepreneurial cell, career guidance cell also. We organize CSR activities under NSS unit throughout the year, like literacy programs, adult education, blood donation camps, plantation, cleanliness programs, under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, health awareness programs, literacy programs. Received trophies from Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha, continuously from 2012 as highest blood donor institute. Accorded permission from Government of India to conduct NCC. And we have adopted a village where we have arranged electricity, cement roads, health awareness programs, distribution of masks, and awareness of and precautions to be taken during COVID pandemic. Started a free driving school where more than 450 local unemployed people were provided free driving and facilitated with free driving license. Trained the local people in mushroom cultivation with the help of biotechnology, agriculture department, faculty and students. Trained local SC/ST uneducated mass with the skills of mason and painting works. Maintaining waste water treatment plant, diverting all water from hostels and residential quarters, which caters to the needs of all agriculture fields of School of Agriculture plants and also integral garden area. Created rainwater harvesting collection areas to increase the groundwater level in 2 areas of the campus. We have set up 125 kilowatt rooftop solar PV plant to promote clean and green energy technologies, which supplies power to all academic blocks of the university, which we are enjoying right now with the help of solar energy. Our agriculture biotechnology department developed a vermicompost area where we dump all agro waste for fertilizer. Got funding for more than 5 crores from DST, DPT, AICT, ACIC, etc. to carry out research activities. Obtained certificate of recognition from Startup India, Startup Odisha, obtained the certificate of registration ISO 9001:2015, obtained authorization under biomedical waste management from Odisha State Pollution Control Board. We are the only university from Odisha which got a sanction of 2.5 crores funding for Atal Incubation Center from ACIC New Delhi. Besides ACIC grants, we received grants from different government agencies such as DST, DBT, BARAC, Ministry of Mines, MSME worth around 4 crores. Faculty and students have 303 research publications in all peer-reviewed journals, published more than 45 patents, out of which 2 are granted already. As we are celebrating World IP Day today, a good number of patents are being filed by the students and faculty members, sir. Similarly, papers are also presenting by the staff and students. We have a plan to celebrate Silver Jubilee year during 2022-23, as we are going to complete 25 years of existence. We have proposed to earmark this year as patent filing year, and I request all of you to please concentrate more on filing of patents along with other R&D activities. So in this respect, we request the revered guests present here for today's program to please share your valuable tips, ideas, and innovations with the faculty and students of this university for filing the patents. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. An avid technologist who has held diverse portfolios in Indian Navy and carries a rich experience in induction of missile systems, state-of-art technology, intensive combat systems, basic arrays, radars, communication equipments, etc. For warship through the indigenous development and TOT route and simultaneous engagement of R&D community, academia, and industry. He was earlier Director and Electrical Engineer at Integrated Headquarters, Ministry of Defense for 5 years and Additional General Manager Tech Services at Naval Dockyard for 2 years. He had also held the position of Deputy Director General Quality Assurance for 5 years and Director Electrical Trials Modification Authority for 2 years. I request Cmde Amit Rastogi, retired Chairman and Managing Director, National Research Development Corporation, NRDC, MSD, Govt of India, New Delhi, to please address us all via online mode.
A very good morning to all present at this national conference. I hope my audio is clear.
Commodore, sir. Commodore, okay, sir. Change color.
Very good morning to all present at this national conference. Dr. Satya Prakash Panda, President GIET, Dr. Chandra Dhwaj Panda, Vice President GIET, various distinguished IP intellectuals present online and offline, heads of the department, faculty members, and most important, the student community. Wish you all a very, very happy World IP Day today. And that's the reason primarily we have gathered together in an online as well as in an offline mode to share our views and thoughts on this World IP Day. And I thank GIET for this initiative. Very, very important activity. And it reflects on the importance and the focus which is being given by the university with regards to the intellectual property. That it is indeed the need of the hour, and academia indeed has to play a very active role, especially if our youth has to make the difference. This year's theme is indeed very apt when we talk about IP and youth innovating for better future. I think everyone must have heard IP and innovation, or rather I would say innovation and IP, has a very symbiotic relationship. And when you integrate youth with this innovation and IP, it indeed is a correct recipe for a better future and for a better growth. So before we dwell on the issues further, and something I think which we need to understand, what is the characteristic of today's youth? I think every generation goes through this phase, but what is the typical characteristic of today's youth? They are curious, they are creative, they have the ability of ingenuity, they are energetic, innovative, go-getter, and can-do attitude is what they possess. And more importantly, the hunger for better future, and they are ready to disturb the status quo. So these qualities are quite right mix for innovation and change. And especially in today's time, India has got the demographic advantage. And what is that demographic advantage? We have 22% of our population in the age group of 19 to 29. And youth with this kind of percentage of population can be a driver to any change that we wish to see. And what is that ecosystem in which we exist today? Why are we looking at this topic of IP and youth innovating for better futures? It is very, very important to know what is the ecosystem in which we exist. We are in an environment of political stability. We have projects like Startup India, Skill India, Digital India, Make in India, Made in India, etc. Enough and more projects to empower our youth. We exist with a conducive policy framework of wherein umpteen number of policies which have come about from Govt of India, National IPR policy of 2016, Startup and Innovation policy, Science, Technology and Innovation policy of 2020, National Education policy, and so on and so forth. So what do we deduce from this? That innovation and entrepreneurship driven ecosystem is something which can thrive in this environment. And what is the moot point? What is the backbone for such ecosystem? IP. Intellectual property indeed is the backbone for such ecosystem which is existing as on today. So that is the importance of IP, I think, which we need to look at. And IP's role in knowledge-driven economy, I think, needs no emphasis. And what I have understood is that we need innovation and entrepreneurship-based system driven by our youth, and IP is the key element. But what we need to look at is IP getting that kind of attention? Is it getting the due attention? Is that enough? Do we have the enabling ecosystem for IP? Do we have an IPR culture in place? We are all aware of the various efforts, lots of efforts, which is being put in by not only by the government, but also by the various stakeholders. We have the patent innovation centers, info centers in every state. There are intellectual property facilitation centers, which have been opened up under Ministry of MSMEs all over the country. We have various IP skill development programs. We have IPR chair in various universities. So there are efforts which are being put in by almost all entities. But the question which I had posed was, is it enough? But yes, there is a start point. We have made sufficient progress. And this year's statistics also indicate that our domestic filing has surpassed the international filing, which is indicative of the fact that we are taking lots of interest. This ecosystem is supporting this kind of arrangement. So what is that which is yet to be done, which is still lacking? And what is that which can help or enable our youth to adopt IP in a big way, so that it helps them in their entrepreneurship dreams and the objective which they want to achieve to support the economy of this country? I think what we need to look at is that the IPR mindset is something which has to get inculcated right from beginning. That is from the stages of school, and then to the colleges, and then into an entrepreneur. So we need to work on Catch Them Young scheme. Lots of schemes are in place wherein the IPR as a subject is being taught in schools. There are various programs which are being conducted. But still, presently, our IPR mindset is primarily R&D centric. We feel that IP is required to be created, or it gets created only by the scientific community or the research community, which need not necessarily be the case. So it proliferates almost every walk of life, and everyone must understand this aspect. A simple example, like when it happens in a school, there is a poem competition which is conducted. A poem written by a student is her IP, or his or her IP, and she gets an award. That's IP monetization. So that is the kind of thing which has to be understood from the school level. And this has to grow as we move to junior college and the professional colleges. There are certain bottlenecks, I think, which we need to address, which are obviously being, it's an area of concern and are being talked about for resolution. There is a certain amount of time which takes for grant of a patent. There is a requirement for optimization of processes so that we get the patents granted in much lesser time frame. And the confidence in the conflict resolution. Should an infringement occur, what are the mechanisms in place presently? Efforts are being made, but still we have a long way to go. So I have something called a 4A approach. What is this 4A approach? I think one would question. One is awareness. You need to make our youth aware about the facets of IP, which obviously I said that has to start from the time when you are in school. You have to make it attractive. If you want IP to be adopted and people to adapt to this, it is only possible when you make it attractive. You have to make it affordable so that we don't question and it becomes a normal thing for anyone to file a patent. Be happy that the university, and I learned from the registrar's talk that this year has been declared as a patent filing year for GIET. And you make it accessible. So these are the 4 A's which I talked about: awareness, attractive, affordable, and accessible. So this will certainly help our youth to move towards this IPR culture. IP curriculum in colleges, I think, needs to be made slightly more rewarding. It should not be mere a theoretical subject. It should be a subject wherein effort put in by the individuals, especially the students, gets rewarded. IP filing certainly should be rewarded. And it should be mandatory for all universities to have an IPR cell, which in today's time, most of them are having. But as a matter of fact, if it becomes mandatory, it will serve the purpose in a bigger manner. So something to also tell you about, since I have the captive audience, in what way, in what manner National Research Development Corporation is supporting this activity of IPR. National Research Development Corporation is a 69-year-old organization established in 1953 as part of Department of Scientific Industrial Research in Ministry of Science and Technology. And all this while, as per our mandate, the technology commercialization and IPR portfolio management is integral to our activity. We have supported around 5,000 entrepreneurs and helped filing around 2,000 odd patents. We also carry forward promotional schemes of Government of India, and primarily in support of MSMEs and startups. And also there are patent assistance scheme through which an inventor and innovator can approach NRDC, and we provide them help in filing their patents. All in all, I wish to say that the future is bright, and IP has become an enabler of dreams of the youth in their entrepreneurial journey to drive India to $5 trillion economy, which is a dream which has been sown by our Honorable Prime Minister of India. And we shall fulfill it through our actions, through our collaborative efforts, and the initiatives which are being taken by academia and R&D community. And I would like to thank GIET for giving us this opportunity to be part of this event and share our views today. I wish this event a huge success. Maybe deliberate more and more on similar topics and come out with something substantial for policy making. Thank you very much. Wish you all the very best. Jai Hind.
If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Inventions are the bedrock of innovation. An invention is a new solution to a technical problem and can be protected through the patents. Patents protect the interest of investors. Those technologies are truly groundbreaking and commercially successful by ensuring that an inventor can control the commercial use of their invention. Thank you so much, sir, for mentioning about the 4 A's. Thank you so much, sir, for mentioning the importance of IPR in a university and on the knowledge for the students in the technical as well as for their practical use. A true entrepreneur is a doer, not a dreamer. I again heartily thank you, sir, for being present with us. Thank you, sir. Now, I will hand over the stage to Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu, sir, Regional Manager and Head, HRDC, PCS, to please take over the further program.
Thank you. Good morning, GIT. Thank you, CMD sir, for your vision and mission for the country towards indigenization and making us comfortable to collaborate, coordinate with the knowledge institution where we can create knowledge, manage knowledge, and also monetize the knowledge in the knowledge economy. With this, we are really grateful to you, sir. I know at this time, we have many assignments and many challenges, and we all are grateful to our scientific community, our team, and also GIET for giving this opportunity to joining hand to celebrate IP and youth, that is innovating for a better future So with this, may I request Dr. Ravi Ishwarappa, who came from a corporate, who connect the dot to industry to academics in an institution and looks after incubation. And in that, how they are managing, how they are inculcating, how they are connecting in technology development, and that technology developed by the students, because the young generation, and the theme is also talks about innovation for better future, where intellectual property and youth can join hand and they can create. May I request Dr. Ravi Ishwarappa to give your thought, your vision at this function. Dr. Ravi Ishwarappa, are you online? Can you please switch on your video?
Yes, good morning, Dr. Sahu. I'm there. Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir. Please go
Am I
ahead.
audible?
You are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu. A very good morning, Commodore Amit Rastogi ji, Dr. Satya Prakash Panda ji, Dr. Chandra Dhwaj Panda ji, Dr. N.V. Jagannadha Rao Panda ji, Jagannadha Rao ji, Dr. Sujit, my good friend Dr. Sahu, gurus, faculty, and student friends, a very good morning. My name is Ravi Ishwarappa. Okay, like as Dr. Sahu was talking of, I worked with the industry and come back to the university, sort of a give back thing, back to the community. I was born, brought up in Vizag, so wanted to give something back to the society. So reverse migrated from the US, wanting to be in Vizag, helped set up Tech Mahindra in Vizag, grew it to about 2 big centers in Vizag, a 3,000 seater, and then moved out to become an entrepreneur. Okay, my last corporate role, I was the chief of quality for Tech Mahindra. I was senior vice president and global head of quality. And then after that, I've started a healthcare startup along with a US partner. We built it to about a $350 business. I sold my stake, came out, had a successful exit, and then again built 4 startups, and today running 4 profit-making startups, 2 of them likely to go for Series A funding this year. One in the HR tech space, one is in the product development of IT, and one in IoT, and one in medtech space. So in addition to that, I thought, okay, there's something that I have to do back to this place that I am born, Vizag. So I've joined the university as the CEO of the Incubation Center, more like a pro bono, and helping the university build an ecosystem. I would start off first talking about my experience with IP being very critical or crucial in decision making, or something that when you don't do things right, where things might go wrong, or people who have rightly protected themselves through an IP had been able to benefit out of it. My first was when Satyam had this case with a company called UPaid, a UK-based company, for IP infringement, using the same IP, a protected IP, algorithms, and a few things for a different client without an acceptance. It's in the fintech space, to our BFSI, as we called it, banking, financial services, and insurance. So, and they used it to used the same stuff to another client, like a reusable component, what we call in the computer science parlance. But that led to a lot of big problem. And there was a suit filed against Satyam, the erstwhile Satyam, which is now got merged with Tech Mahindra. I was not part of it, but I was part when Tech Mahindra took over. I was part of the shadow board, which is 5 of us who are being closely put along. Anand Mahindra handpicked 5 of us, put us along in the board of Tech Mahindra, the newly formed board along with the government, and said, you are the shadow board and you take decisions sitting here. and I was part of the settlement. Out of court settlement, nearly amounting to 70 million US dollars. Yeah, you know, a million is about 7.5 crores today. So 70 million US dollars was settled. Out of court settlement was done. You paid for just using a component of code, reusing a component of code into a competitor's development stuff, which without the consent of the person with whom the original IP was built for. So we were building IP for you paid, and that was wrongly used for another client, and this led to about 70 million USD as a out of court settlement. So that's one experience I had, and I did my research. I've been to IIM Bangalore and Indian Institute of Science. I was a researcher there. I had a friend who was from the electronics background, who developed some IP in the switching technology, which was this is late 90s, and that's when the mobile tech is taking big shape. And he sold it to company A. I know it's a little bit confidential, so I'm not giving you the name of the companies, for just $250,000 without any royalty. So how do you manage your IP also becomes a very great, this is a great example that my friend, we keep reconnecting, and he says how he's lost, could have become a billionaire and landed up with a little bit of money, because it's just not creating IP, but also ensuring that how you encash it, commercialize it is also becomes a very critical thing. This is an example towards that. So this guy sold it for $250,000. The company later got acquired by a bigger company, but the valuation of the IP that this guy, the design IP that this guy had, was valued at $60 million. So you're talking about 240 times within 2 years is what this guy has actually lost. And with that, and with an additional royalty engagement. So this is a huge, loss for the guy, because probably not done a proper due diligence or the potential market study before doing the technology transfer or sale of the IP to a specific firm, complete rights without even having any royalty payment sort of agreement with the firm. So that's a second experience from a friend's side. Third is, I'm part of startups. So I truly understand, and there's largely technology startups, understand the importance of IP, because I travel around the world for most of the big IP, the startup conferences like Web Summit or Rise in Hong Kong, been there 3 times, Web Summit in Amsterdam, or any of these Latitudes and other stuff in Europe. So the big question when we put our, because I go and I sit in front of, I'm part of TIE, which is one of 62 chapters, a big angel investment and VC funding institution that I'm associated with. And this, you will find it pretty common, this question when startups are pitching to any group of investors. I'm 100% sure one of the top 3 questions, or the first 3 questions is, whatever you're doing, is it protected? If you don't believe me, look up Shark Tank. That's where you find people who are coming and pitching to investors. Any episode, if you miss somebody asking if there's a specific something that is very unique, you will never miss that question, that is your IP filed? Is it awarded? How do you own the IP for this? These sort of questions are pretty common, because that determines the value of the startup itself. So you having something great ideas, great product, great solution, a great algorithm, which is an AI based, or all that without ownership or protection of that, the valuation drastically comes down, because there's a chance that there's a Me Too guy who will just copy it or come up with similar stuff, and then with deeper pockets will be able to fund it much higher, and then kill you from whatever, or take you out from the market. So that's a big risk for people who are investing in your startup. So IP becomes pretty critical and important from startup valuation perspective. So with a lot of young guys out there, entrepreneurship why should I take it up or not? I'll just dwell upon it for a few minutes. Yes, I became an entrepreneur at late 30s or early or sort of 40s. I turned an entrepreneur after people do ask me, why have you got to do it? You are in the senior management, ready to, you're sort of, I was probably the youngest vice president or the senior vice president, less than 40, and a great organization, all set to grow to become bigger. Probably 7-digit salaries and shares every year after year. But somewhere in you, if you're a person who would want to sort of have a control over your own destiny, you want to make something big, achieve something big, you want to do some sort of risk taking, that sorts of drives you towards this, you can call it madness, called entrepreneurship or startup. Yesterday night, early in the morning, I was a little bit following the stuff, and just like that, wrote a check for 44 billion USD and bought Twitter. Of course, he holds 9.2% of the stake in Twitter too. So, but for a valuation of 44 billion, I was wondering the journey of this thing, and the guy who started off Twitter again drop out, and then making it such a big thing out of it. So the person that I'm working for, probably Tech Mahindra or Anand Mahindra, started off somewhere and made it what it is today. So can I not, or can I do something at least? But I'm emotionally attached to this place. Just for information, I'm also emotionally attached to Gunupur. My father comes from the place. He was in the army. His last wish was to go to Gunupur and see it before he passes away, but unfortunately, he was 80 and I couldn't fulfill his wish. So I thought, let me come and have a look. I missed that chance today. Maybe I will sure one day make it to that place. But I see this sort of like what Commodore Amit Rastogi sir was talking of. The youth of today, they are that sort of people who are ready to experiment, take the risk, take it to the next level, just probably not happy with working for somebody, doing something that somebody tells you, and would want to sort of have a control over their own destiny and want to make it big. So this absolutely fits into something that if you're talking about something called startup and trying to do something on your own. Who is this for, and what is a startup? Which are the set of students who will fit into that mold of a startup versus you have to be very careful. I find a lot of students here, especially in place that I come from, they don't get a campus placement and it becomes a fad that they immediately say, I'm starting up, and then I call myself a CEO. No, that doesn't work. That's not the way you should, that's not what you should be doing. It's actually something you're passionate about, you have a proper idea, and then you're scientifically trying to identify what's the market, is this opportunity big enough, have a proper mentors, and then build it to this thing. So my experience with students, 2 or 3, I'll tell you. One of the startups I've invested in is called Interview Buddy, where we have most of the big universities, maybe Vizag, Geetham, then SRM's, WITS, and a few IITs, IIITs. Basically, that's something, it's come up as an idea. It's a student entrepreneur, 2015. This guy is thought most of the students have this fear for facing an interview. That's how this idea, that's the seed of the idea that's come up in him. He was attending his interview, campus interview, 2015, Andhra University mechanical guy. This guy was more or less like a backbencher, not very attentive in classes, but very, connected with the practical world of things. So he was, there's about a kilometer away, there used to be a workshop. So he used to be sitting there most of the time repairing cars. He was very passionate about cars and coding. So this guy, this is what he used to do. And when a core company came into the campus, This guy was sitting in the interview when they asked him a few questions. They were surprised that he had so much of whether it's IC engines or whether it's cars and a few of the practical aspects of what mechanical engineering is. He was pretty good at it, and then immediately they said, why don't you come and sit along with us in the interview and interview your own classmates? A turning point in his life. Then that's when this idea started coming into his brain. He saw his own classmates, great CGPAs, sitting in front of this, very nervous, unable to answer simple questions. Then he thought, okay, this is a problem. Most of the people have fear for interview. Then he did not take the job. He went for his MS in Germany. 6 months through, he saw his seniors coming out of his MS and then having the same problem. Then he decided, okay, this is a global phenomenon. And then he said, okay, let me see. He left his MS halfway through. This is what startup guys are. This is a guy who is a student, left a job, left his MS in Germany halfway through, came back to India, came to us, and then said, okay, let's start up. And we 5 of us, friends in the IT world, said, okay, we are also talking of something similar. We started off, we funded this guy, all of us holds equal stake. We started off in 2017, and our first this thing launch was a failure because we went B2C. So, and then we had to change. Then because if I'm talking to students and saying you have an interview in 2 or 3 days with TCS, Deloitte, Accenture, nobody will take a call, because we started having campus ambassadors and all that route. We spent about 30 lakhs and it all went down the drain. Then we decided, okay, that's a strong strategy. It happens. That's what I'm trying to give you, a lifestyle of life of a startup or an entrepreneur, and then how you start pivoting and innovation. Once you hit something, it's not the end of the game. If Apple, if we call one of the most innovative companies, if they have stayed on Apple 1T, they would not have been Apple 13. So you need to continuously innovate. Innovation is not a one-time thing, but it's a continuous process. So then we had to go to the B2B route, and then we had to go to TPOs and the colleges and then get them on board. And then later we move to corporates, we move to, like if you go to Skill Villa, you do anything like Great Learning, or even Monster now. Most of these are our clients which are white labeled. And so this guy started building it, and this guy didn't take that risk, but after 5 years today is worth about maybe 5-6 crores of, our company is valued somewhere around the 30-40 crore mark, and we still bootstrapped. And the first level of Naukri, which is InfoEdge, wanted to take over or buy us out. But we said no. We crossed just 1 crore of turnover. We are profitable last 2 years. But that's how he's logged it out. He had no salary for the last 5 years. So it happens. That's something that what you should be prepared for. Another startup, yesterday they got a check for 20 lakhs. They just got their first this thing. They're in the campus, simple again. See, ideas they don't germinate from big stuff. They could be very simple, straightforward stuff. These guys were, you all guys know, students, we are all used to it, one-day batting. You study the day before, finish your exams the next day, and somehow manage to scrape through, get the 60s, 70s and all that stuff. So they just latched onto that idea and then created a website for the campus students where they put all the last 4 years question papers and other stuff. And sort of made a website which says makes it easy for you to pass your exams, and then so created a website, but then came for mentoring and said, okay, this is what we are making a little bit of money, but not good enough. Then they went into edutech. They created communities. Of course, they have 13,000 people on their student community, and then they also went into edutech. Edutech again, the mentoring that was given was, don't go to the computer science side of things because it's crowded. Don't go on the soft skill side. Concentrate on mechanical, electrical, electronics, and other stuff. So which became their core this thing. And then they're currently third-year students funded, valued at 3 crores of this thing. So entrepreneurship is, I know, not very much in this part of the world because parents, they sort of, there's a lot of resistance from home if you say, I'm not going to take up the job that the campus has been able to give me, but I want something on my own. But thankfully, that myth of being a lone warrior, which it was when I was young, is no more this thing. So you have a great institution, great university which supports. You're doing great on the ranking. So ARIA rankings and other stuff. So there must be great incubation stuff, and then a lot of mentoring and other things that is helping you take up big things in life. So while, yes, probably last two things before I close, which is the day you think that it need not be as soon as you're passing out of a college that you need to be a job giver or a job creator than trying to go in as a job seeker out. No problem, you can go out as a job seeker, but go and experience the art of starting up, because sit with the startups that are already there in the incubation centers. That's what we are creating out here. We are just making it experiential learning. We have one university's own incubation center. We put up the NASCOM Center of Excellence for Artificial Intelligence and IoT. We just started yesterday. We have 25 startups. There are another 15 in NASCOM. STPI is coming with a 70,000 SFT of incubation space. That's on engineering side. Okay, with Ramki Pharma and with Avanti Feeds, we're creating a marine, an 80,000 SFT of marine, pharma, biotech, and other incubation. But what we are doing is we have put up policies saying that 25% of these are student interns who are working there. So experiential learning, just experience what startup is before you jump or dive into it with your ideas and other stuff, which being a part of that community, being part of those, what we call it, fireside chats or your coffee days with the startup innovator mentors, what you do as part of IIC and other stuff. These things you experience with people, connect, network, build, see what they're doing in person, see the ups and downs, the good, bad, ugly of starting up, and yes, and then take that calculated risk of getting into starting up and then take things forward. Of course, as great support from NRDC, which we also have here. Ensure that if you're coming up with something innovative, you are very much protected, because that gives not only a protection from you being copied and somebody taking it over, but also your core valuation of your company depends upon the IP that you hold. So thank you to the GIET team, and thank you, Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu, for this opportunity. I'd love to be in Gunupur one day. I want to see and experience what my father lived through in that place. Really come and be a part of that system that would love to come and see the system that you've developed. Congratulations, you're doing extremely good. Yeah, and thank you for the opportunity. Have a great day, and Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ravi. And we are really privileged, because these are the leader of the next generation. Certainly some of the challenges, because you came from a corporate, now you are managing startup. Your experience, your support will certainly create impact to the university ecosystem. And we are really grateful to you. And in future, the university will get benefit from you. And the way you told, you are emotionally connected with this place called Gunupur. The president, vice president, registrar are looking forward to see you physically. And I'm grateful, Dr. Ravi, for giving a tone, making a shape, particularly on innovation, entrepreneurship in the changing paradigm of ecosystem of innovation. And thank you, God bless you. Now we'll move to a physical mode, because we had online. Certainly there is one of my friend, the director of Minister of Innovation, Education, is at Copenhagen. He has a message for the program, but certainly we need to go for physical, because the program and the theme of the session is IP and youth. Friends, I'll start with the entrepreneurship created by the founder of this institution, Dr. Chandra Dhwaj Panda and Dr. Satya Prakash Panda. I'll start with one Odia quote: Ujjogi jana Lakshminandana Huanti Sarva Kale Karmare thila doibo dela purushotama bhale. This is such a beautiful institution created by both of the brother. This is the innovation. This is the creativity, and this is the vision. They have seen the vision. Today, the state is proud. Being a Odia, I am proud of you, sir. And I look forward your kind address to this young generation. Because, friends, I would like to tell you, once you pass out, goes to industry, sometime you enjoy the job, sometime you will be frustrated. So you build your capacity accordingly. Because the economy is completely market driven, demand driven, you have to be ornament and you need to build your skill. So now may I request Dr. Chandra Dhwaj Panda, Vice President of the GIET, to give his address, please. Sir, please come.
Good morning to all. Respected Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu, who is the main inspirer behind this function, and Honorable Dr. Sujit Pruseth, who is the attraction of this World Patent Day. Honorable Retired Commander Amit Rastogi sir, Dr. Mohit Gambhir sir, Dr. Bajoe Wibowo, Mr. Ravi Ishwarapu, the Registrar of the University, my dear professors, heads, colleagues, friends from press media and electronics media, my dear student friends. Really, it is a platform where every one of us has something to learn. I really appreciate the mind of the organizers who could organize World Patent Day by having the two eminent speakers. You may call speakers, you may call experts, you may call guests, you may take as our family members, who will enlighten us on the topic innovation, intellectual property rights, and entrepreneurship. Really, this is a burning topic, the call of the day. You have no existence if you don't create new ideas. And your new ideas will not be fruitful unless it gets patent IPR, recognized by IPR. And when the IPR doesn't recognize, then your entrepreneurship will not be there. So dear friends, between innovation and your entrepreneurship, we have intellectual property rights. What is that intellectual property rights? You have already had people. Intellectual property right means like any other property rights, which gives the creator an exclusive right over his or her creation for a certain period of time. So that IPR, that is intellectual property rights, there are some areas which you have known, that is trademark, patents, copyright, industrial design, trade secret. And dear friends, we are familiar with the words trade secret. We generally ask, what is the trade secret behind your success? Right? So we require IPR for any innovative ideas in order to get the ideas, the creation recognized, so that you will come out as a successful entrepreneur. Today, with the development of science and technology, we have seen a shift. You all have known there is a shift from farming to industry, industry to knowledge. Now it is knowledge, which is very important, very important. We are in a technology-driven, knowledge-based era, whose foundation is nothing but intellectual investment. So intellectual investment plays a vital role in the economic development of a nation. It so happened that in each and every dimension of human life, they're touched by your IPR, intellectual property rights, right? So intellectual property rights in this technology-driven, knowledge-dominated world occupies a significant position. Whenever we talk of, as a student of economics, we have 4 factors: land, labor, capital, and organization. Products to produce any output, we want 3 plus entropy. And as I was telling, in a knowledge-dominated economy, your tangible assets like land, labor, capital, the importance is gone. Nowadays, gone. The importance of intangible assets like knowledge, like process, like information, like creativity, they are now very important. And whenever you are in a higher education institution, I tell you, nowadays, even the new education policy, importance is given to R&D. R&D what? Research and development. I'll tell you an interesting thing here. When I talk of research, research transforms money into knowledge. What? Research transforms money into knowledge. But my friends, innovation transfers knowledge into money. Right? So once you go for innovation, automatically you will be rich enough. What is rich enough? I was attending a felicitation function of my teacher at SKCG Pala campus, whose function was held in KITS, Bhubaneswar, conference hall. Actually, my son has resigned and become the president of Punjab National Bank Officers Association. Okay. After his retirement, those officers wanted to felicitate him. My teacher said to the officers that, okay, I give a green signal for the function to be organized by you people. But my request is, please invite my student, Dr. Sujit Panda, to the function. In that function, I was the only man, odd man out, you may say, all are bank officers, Punjab National Bank officers. And it was chaired by 3 ministers, Achyut Samant, everybody. To my utter surprise, I was the first man to speak, invited. Really, I did not expect that. I have never expected that. My teacher said, my students should come up and speak. Really, tears came from my eyes. And my first sentence was, my teacher, my guru is very rich, very rich, very rich. Then my teacher then and there said, how come I'm rich? I'm not that rich. I'm just having some money to maintain my family and everything. Then I told, richness here I refer to the manpower that you have around you, not money. So, dear friends, this innovation will make you rich, make you a very good entrepreneur, provided you have a trademark, you have a patent, you have a copyright, whatever it may be, because these are the different areas of intellectual property rights. When we talk of as well I was telling, R&D activities. Why importance is given to R&D activities? Not that you will go on searching, that is research, not that. You have to make a search, research to find a new idea which is not there. You're the first person to create that idea, provided you have collaborations with different industries, organizations, etc. So, dear friends, I want to refer or go to the theory of profit given by Schumpeter. That is innovation theory of profit. He told that it is the entrepreneur who is important to utilize land, labor, capital. Unless and until we have entrepreneur, we cannot have development. Why China is developed? Why America is developed? You must have seen in different areas, Chinese goods. Because they are more innovative. Advanced economy does not mean that you are rich with wealth. No. It is innovation, entrepreneurship that is more important. So how can we have more of entrepreneurs in order to have sustainable development? Dear friends, there must be support. You have created some ideas. Unless until it is supported, recognized, you cannot expect to come out with a flying color. So on this World Patent Day, I tell you, this IPR, intellectual property right, is very, very important to promote innovation and entrepreneurship. Dear friends, we have two bodies. One is Industrial Research and Collaborative Center. The other is Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. They are the driving forces. I tell you, driving forces to have or for innovation and entrepreneurship development. And as I tell you, intellectual investment is the call of the day. And once the intellectual investment is protected, then only we can think of sustainable innovation and entrepreneurship development. So, dear friends, I don't want to take much of your time because it is a topic related to me, being a student of economics. So I request you all to have a patient hearing to the two eminent guest speakers, family members, whatever you may call, and try to understand what should we do as a teacher, What should you do as a researcher? What should you do as a student of biotechnology? Student of your agriculture? Students of management, because intellectual property management system is very important for you people, for everybody. So nobody, we cannot say that those people, they do not come under innovation. No, even a rural villager comes under innovation. He innovates things, but nobody is there to recognize his innovation ideas, new ideas. And once we give importance to intellectual investment, we can think of development. So the role of IPR is very important in the present day world, which brings innovation and entrepreneurship. Have a patient hearing, and I wish this World Patent Day function is success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Panda, for giving a momentum, because you are a leader who made the difference. And this is one of the reason sometimes we call it a backward region, because I basically from this region, and that too from Kalahandi. And we are certainly grateful that your vision certainly making the effect. And this is some of the real ornament of the knowledge economy today, who is sitting in front of us. We are really grateful for your thought and vision. And friends, we are really proud and happy that you have a passion of learning and listening. And we will request you at least 1 more hour. And we have a one lecture, I will say not lecture, a video message from Ministry of Education, Dr. Mohit Gambhir, who is at Copenhagen Business School at Denmark. Last year, I fortunately visited Copenhagen, and this year he visited under the Danida Fellowship Program. So can you please run the message of Dr. Mohit Gambhir?
My team all the dignitaries, all the people who have gathered there on the beautiful occasion of World ICT and the celebrations which have been done with Indian Capital Office in collaboration with GIET to celebrate the connection among all the stakeholders across the country about the importance of intellectual property, Bajoe Wibowo. As I always say, no country can ever reach to become a global economy unless others as countries move forward and works to genuinely in protecting the island. And not only protecting the island, once it is done to the best possible way, then try to so I think has to be a very good aspect. And in line with that, to measure at the IIT, what we are trying to do. Past 1 year, we have started a program named Satya Under this program that is named after our ex-president, Dr. Apj Abdul Kalam, Kalam program for IT literacy and awareness. We started under this program of small events to engage our professionals, to engage our students across the country, to engage colleges, through our establishment, IIT, which we have done, Institute Innovation Council, and I'd like to thank everyone who has participated so far and who are trying to gain the maximum of it. Under this program, we are trying to invite cultural innovation, IT innovation, and finding the IT, securing the IT life, and then taking that to production. Friends,
only to tell you one very important thing. As because the turn of the two experts will come right now, I would request them while delivering, they must feel that it is their institute. They are a part and parcel for innovation, IPR, and entrepreneurs. So I expect that from these two experts. That is what I want to say.
Thank you, Dr. Panda, for your kind words. And now, friends, we'll go for, as usual, 2 technical session. So before going to that, I just wanted to check the mic and check your enthusiasm. How is the Josh? How is the Josh? Thank you. That means I came all the way from Visakhapatnam, quit my bed around 3:30, and I was not having breakfast. I came and I took breakfast. So I got more energy because by seeing you all, because you are the real knowledge, real weapon of the modern India, and that is the dream of Prime Minister of India, to make India as a India, Shrestha Bharat, Sarvoch Bharat, Swachh Bharat. With that objective, the program is need of the hour, because today you might be doing BTech, tomorrow you may go for MTech, or you may go for PhD and work with corporate. Intellectual property will be always help you, because the economy is driven today by only intellectual property, and that economy we are talking about, knowledge economy, where intellectual property plays a very important role. And you have seen the Indian Bollywood movie, that is 3 Idiots, how Phuntsung Wangru has 400 patents, and Chatur Ramalingam, although he have, you know the story, and we must have to replicate that in our ecosystem, because हिंदुस्तान को ज्ञान का भंडार है, लेकिन हमको स्किल चाहिए, because today our economy is market driven, innovation driven. With that objective, we have with us one of the very intellectual, I will say intellectual officer of Government of India, who had a tenure with Indian Institute of Public Administration, who plays a very important role to Government of India in Department of Skill and Entrepreneurship. And till today, he is advising Honorable Education Minister of Government of India, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan. We have with us Dr. Sujit Pruseth, who not only plays an important role in academics, who connect the dot. And with that objective, we invited him. He came all the way because he was in Delhi, then he came to Bargad. From Bargad, he came to here. So friends, may I request you kindly give him a big hand so that he can make the difference. May I request you all. Dr. Pruseth, the session is yours, please.
समस्तों को जोहार, समस्तों को नमस्कार, good morning. The meeting is on the dais, Dr. Bijay Sahu, the architect of this program and who has been the pillar of the strength of this program. Dr. Satya Panda sir, the man behind this institute, Dr. Rao sir, the registrar, the dignitaries, Dr. Cmde Amit Rastogi, Sri Mohit from Ministry of Education, and from Wibowo, Dr. Wibowo, and other dignitaries, respected faculties, and dear young students. It's always been a pleasure, at the same time it has been a privilege as well as an honor for me to be in my land. I belong to this land called Balangir, and I have many reasons to be with you with a great satisfaction. And basically, I'm a university teacher who started my career from National Law University, Bangalore, and still continues to be a teacher. So when I see this student, it's more than an honor for me to speak before you. Today it's a World Intellectual Property Day, where the world is moving towards something called the intellectual property. As Dr. Panda, Dr. Sahu has already briefed, and they have laid down the basics of this function today. We need to look into the future. Basically, where we look into the future, where do we go? There are a couple of websites, since the students are around. I will request all of you to note down one website that you must see almost every day. The way you take a breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day on a regular basis, and you do not forget about taking those things. At least make it a habit. At least early in the morning or late in the night, you must spend some time, at least 10 minutes, in watching this website every day. This is the best website that I have seen in my teaching career for the last 16 years. www.ted.org. This is the best website. Go to your own area of interest, maybe filmmaking, maybe painting, maybe space, maybe biology, maybe chemical biology, maybe intellectual property, but make it a habit of listening to any subject that will make you interest and make note every day. And every day they upload videos from the best 10 speakers on any subject every day. So this is the best website. The second website that I'm suggesting is the second website, one is ted.org, the second is the gapminder.org, gapminder.org. So this is the era of knowledge. So unless until you harness the potential in technology, everybody has got some kind of mobile in your hand with an Android set, and that is internet is being provided by your institute 24/7. So you need to harness the potential of technology. At the same time, you need to harness the potential of something called your inquisitiveness, which is called the innovation and foundation for future entrepreneurship. So these are the things that's the need of the hour. So today we'll go for formal presentation because of lack of time. Otherwise, it would have been a lecture. Let's start. I think it's ready. Okay. Okay. The very first thing that I will come to my formal presentation on the global governance and intellectual property, the linkage between education as well as the future ahead. Most crucial thing is the future ahead. Where do we go from here, 2022, next 25 years, or next 20 years, or next 10 years? This is called the scientific projection. Entire world is looking to India, that where India is making a stride. So where India is heading for. There is a Latin term. The Latin term, the spelling is Q Hadis. Q-U-A space V-A-D-I-S question mark. Q Hadis means where we are heading for, where we are going. So the question and the answer, both are critical. The answer lies in the fact that India is heading towards something called at a very envious position in the entire world because of the fact that youngsters with innovative and something called entrepreneurship and the youngsters with some good potential. The linkage between future and future society is based on something, the very first point. Can I operate? Can I operate? Okay. You can see the slide here. This is the context. Context meaning which context we are here right now. The very first thing that you see is IR 4.0. IR 4.0 means it's an industrial revolution force edition. Okay. Okay, welcome back to my session. It's called the Industrial Revolution 4.0. That's the first point that I'm making here. Industrial Revolution 4.0 means in the year 2022. This is the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. We are very fortunate that we are part of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. 4.0 means the fourth edition of the Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution started in Manchester almost 200 years back. We started the economic revolution all around. And today we are at the 4.0, meaning the fourth edition has started. So this is the era, this is the historical time that we are passing through. So future is basically will be based on something called KB economy. KB economy, which Panda sir and Dr. Sahu was also mentioning, it's a knowledge-based economy. Means those people who have potential, at the same time, those people who have already explored the potential of knowledge-based, they will critically drive the economy world. For example, students from Gunupur, GIET University can also rule the entire world based on their education, at the same time, innovation and entrepreneurship. So those who will make a critical linkage between education, in my generation, education was the only education with me. But all of you right now, we are making a linkage between knowledge and economy. That's the crucial point. Means knowledge has to be integrated with something called entrepreneurship. That's why there's a new phase of history. So knowledge-based economy is right now moving the entire civilization. Next point that we must discuss is that why there is something called intellectual property today that we are celebrating. Precisely because of the certain changes that has happened all over the world. It's called the policy paradigm has changed. The Government of India is pursuing very vigorously about something called the intellectual property, knowledge-based economy, and industrial revolution. So they are looking at the future, the 20 years down the line, where the students of GIET will be. So the future is based on your knowledge and how you have linkage with something called entrepreneurship and economy. So this is the mantra for right now. So this is a change in the policy paradigm. So Government of India has changed vigorously. Dr. Sahu is also an implementer, enabler at the same time with the policy catalyst. He framed the policy, also implement the policy. I mean, there are lots of changes in the policy paradigm. So what is the basic thing that has started? The new IPR policy, the intellectual property right policy 2016, which our distinguished speakers has already told, means this is the catalyst, this is the background. The next background, solid background right now is the new education policy 2020, means Government of India is very serious about the future of the student, the future of country also. So there are two policy paradigms that have changed the situation dramatically. So the two policies will continue to dominate in the next 5 to 10 years. So all of you will be change makers at the same time. You will also be the beneficiary of those changes in the next 5 to 10 years. Both teachers like me, our faculties are here, and the students. We will be the change maker at the same time. We will be the beneficiary of the changes. So what are the changes that we see? The promotions of the innovation, something called industry also. So the moment you think something, let's say a small boy from Kesingam, name is Mr. Retd. He started something called the OYO movement, own your own thing. Right now, he earns in millions. A small boy from Kesingam. At the same time, must have known one person who was a wage earner, who is from Sambasiva. During lockdown, he used the technology in YouTube. And right now, he earns a lot from YouTube. It's just a metric dropout. The question is, how do you use your knowledge and something called innovation? So innovation is crucial. Next point that I'm highlighting is that there are certain specifically, like the innovation, the Government of India specific, the linkage between education and intellectual property that furthers it will lead to. Simple education, getting a degree is fine, but where it will lead to. So that question has been answered in the next slide. Next time we'll go to this one. That what are the steps that has been taken by the education sector? First step that has been taken by the UGC, that intellectual property right is going to be part of the course curriculum, just never in my generation at least. So the next couple of years, the course curriculum, maybe right now it's a very optional subject, but we are suggesting the Government of India that within the next 1 year, IPR should be made compulsory. So let's say students of India literature, what we can do. But we must support something called innovation. Let me share something with you here, because all of you are friends right now. Just 1 year back, I also write in India's and like it. Somehow I got a call from the Star Plus movie series that one of the powerful websites, one of the powerful channels in this country. And being a teacher of public policy, I was offered the content writer of Star Plus Hindi. And you can see my serial that 125 serial has already been aired in Star Plus Hindi. It has been aired on GIET University. I wrote on something called historical figure called Jagannadha. It's a very historical figure. Nobody knows. Let's open the website of Oscar Degree website. Go to the website, Oscar Degree Star Plus Hindi. You can see my name in the beginning of the Star Plus. My name will be there. So this is called knowledge latest to the business or something about innovation. You must be doing Bala nearby. That is something those contrast tribe, those are from the Kosar, they had Jagannadha like anything. And we showcase the Star Plus Hindi. Now they are different. The small things can then bring a big change that is focusing on, apart from your big thing. Right now, the choice based. From choice based, it should be made compulsory. Next is the NIR, National your rating framework. That's what I do dot in terms of innovation. GIET University, they have already set up a new innovation cell. These are the additional points apart from imparting education. So being a teacher, being a student, you need to go beyond the formal education. Next slide, please. Then we are this space that you see, that's the what exactly is the reality. The reality is very encouraging many times. So in 2018, now study, the next study on the innovation sector in India, in South India, Dr. Sahu is a person with the innovation IPR, very student. But the question is that there are there are four states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Telangana. And most important thing is that they are completely aware of different features of IPR. They know about IPR property, they do not know anything about their life. The states in India, but thankfully, other things has been made. 35% goes to the so next question is that complete awareness about the 5%. Before me, Commodore was to be speaking about the 4A, the fast A awareness. Always something we are aware of. We cannot access opportunity. The very question is where we are heading for. So always something where we exist right now, how where we said we need to go beyond. Now, this is the now unity means only yesterday, the Center of Indian economy, only yesterday, they created something in English. They are saying that 900 million Indians of legal working age, this is roughly the population of the entire US and Russia, they do not want to enjoy. The country like India, the population of Russia, and totally the population is bigger than the state of Russia. This is means what? They have got education and they are really to go something for education. This is a very standing feature of this country. Now, the Govt of India, which is before today's 25 market, this is a new hope. And in the next couple of days, India used to create at least 19 million jobs by 2050. The biggest figure of the silver line is that many people want to create jobs. One thing and educated life is offering jobs to more than 400 people. If we have been satisfied, being a lecturer, being a professor, is not being productive. So the entrepreneurial there are jobs and security other things is also found here. This is something called the intelligence saying that so those things you want to create that for really change because you will change. Last time you will be one is supposed to be fair. Let's say that's part-time economy being they declare the economy to go down 8% per year.
Imagine this country was went down almost 6% during pandemic. It has come back with much enthusiasm. Almost 8% of people will grow GDP in the next couple of years also. These are the situations. So imagine your position. Your position is very strong. Growth is optimal. Next is a very critical point. You must have seen this society, right? If the society is changing, women are in the forefront. So this is what the gender aspect of the if you look at this starting phase, we get a real picture where women would say, many youngsters are here, youngsters are here. The situation is the same. If you look at the gender aspect of the design, the micro and very report. The micro, the gentleman, the speaker is also here and get prepared a report, which is saying that most important contribution comes from Latin America and the Caribbean island. Not from the state. 19% are those who are going for intellectual property, property, and full 20%. Let's come to this year, who is 17%. Imagine 87%. So let's all students here the future based on capacity and innovation. And so far, not only is concerned, they are really. So India is a country, respect with women, empower women like anything, but there are lots of things in terms of gender aspects of intellectual property right. Now coming to the academic, only women contribute 20%. We go to the private sector, so we are the areas of the government focusing on more focus on making more women into the area of public policy in terms of intellectual property right. How we will also take a consideration. So good companies, so pushing the three sectors where women have contributed in terms of intellectual property according to micro. Three sectors. One sector is biotechnology, second is food chemistry, and pharmaceutical. I have seen this from GIET University. I think biotechnology was very significantly, very expensive technology. Now, how do you go? The responsibility is faced like now. They has been shown responsibility will be given. Not simply education, but innovation, entrepreneurship. So IP is going to be compulsory for every student right from high school days. For example, each and every household, my mother knows how to make good chutney or rice pancake. It is also intellectual property. Your grandmother is also intellectual property. So how do you make innovation in that one? That's the thing. So next we require confidence because how people are doing. We are going to create more and more innovation forms. Today, so these are the things that will move the future. Next is something called the more and more industry for attention, industry, getting aspects of the clean to get it. Last one is that at least should be inclusive and gender oriented. We have discussed about the other aspect. Last one will be inclusive. Let's say how many people that can for example, solar painting. Solar painting is one class. So present they can learn something about the property right, how to make business out of that. That is something about making that inclusive. Those who are they must be part of the larger benefits and gain. So this society will be inclusive, developing inclusive, this is good. So there's something of my discussion here. I started with the topic, I started with the program, with the program, you identify the areas to address your potential. So with this one, we conclude with the big thank you to all of you and with all of you that the next 5 to 10 years, this institute will also go for more and more patent, more and more innovation, and more entrepreneurship. So this was thank you all of you for your testimony.
Thank you so much, sir, for mentioning about the IPR and its importance in our university. And definitely you mentioned about the biotechnology role and the pharmaceutical, even about the chemistry, how it is developing these days, and how a small pitta chakuli, which is all over famous in the Odisha, how it can be developing for the new IP in the
Good afternoon all. Good afternoon all. Hi dear, can you just sit for 10 minutes? Excuse me. Yeah. You can do that. अगर आप लोग बोलते हैं ना कभी ताली मिलता है कभी गाली मिलता है थोड़ा सा we need to create some momentum because ये तो लेक्चर है बट आप इस देश के लिए कैसे काम करोगे इस देश के लिए कैसे आप ऐसे काम करेंगे कि नेक्स्ट जनरेशन का यहाँ से राइट 40 किलोमीटर है आप दिल्ली जाते हो बॉम्बे जाते हो Oh, sorry. Now, when you कोई भी देश आते हो तो कोई don't have any kind of near the जब आप लोग I was just like playing off the and the different at Delhi airport, you thought the parents might be anxious to know about your reaching the place, but suddenly you used to inform going to do something. That means your parents will be comfortable with that kind of reach. Place very carefully, very comfortable, and also people in there. That's a knowledge to talk about. And here, the objective of the program because you are economy and you are contributing, but at the same time, you want to have the credit. Knowledge must be acknowledged. आपको विज्ञान के बारे में बताना महामारी So what you think about there we have been seeing that there is need a hospital आज इंडिया का पोजीशन but in the knowledge index India, more than 14 but every month in the year, 70, 80, there is no friends. The objective of the program is we must create demand. जो दिखता है दिखता है लोकल that's the thing of our and the story of this slide which may and also give you some information and that information can be confident to create a sign. Friends, last 2 and a half years we lost many of our cases. Am I? मेरे आपके घर का है ये भी ये हमारा जिंदगी है ये जिंदगी और बनता है आज कुछ है कल कुछ है किसी को पता नहीं कब क्या होगा लेकिन आज इस समझ में हम ये ऐसा है जिंदगी एक पहले बार बन जाए जो कि कहते हैं जब छोटे चीजों पे काम करें तो हुआ इसीलिए ना University has lots of midnight. तो कहने का मतलब ये है व्यवसाय के बारे में ना जो पीढ़ी वाले लोग you are now online technology. You must have to account तभी भी अपना मेरे गांव से जाना दिल्ली में जो मेरे सीनियर थे बच्चे हम लोग जवान के तो कोई होता है ये भी सही लगा यही है कि आप लोग कभी करते हैं for giving this opportunity to come here and thankful to Dr. Rao who connected about giving me a warning hand to join in this ecosystem. क्योंकि मैं तो हमारे कल्याण का जो पहले से how we create jobs, how we create the jobs, that is the innovation and IP, and that's the objective of today's program that what government talks about. So friends, you all are there. I'm just putting your photograph in my presentation. I'm not telling the story or I just give you information that you must calculate to next generation technology. Because you parents ultimately go away and receive my own parents and from the program. But at the end of the day, I am not now I take care of parents good work. So it is a time to connect the dot, mitigate the challenge, cooperate, connect and coordinate. Then only we can get a country, that country is greater. With that, we move to the future of life. हम लोग गाँव से आए हैं, हम कैसे छोटा सा लेवल से कैसे मजबूत करें? Small our students naturally make the difference that connect the world in society. Friends, try to put the time that from innovation. Because we are not only internal innovation and also innovation. That is the need of our if we want to be a indigenous or if we want to be innovating India, great India. That's the objective we need to create, and that's the result of good scientists and
the science and technology. Friends, globally, यूज करोगे जब आप यूएस बैठोगे बोला जाएगा कि इंडिया का है ग्लोबली 46 है आई थिंक इतना खराब नहीं है currently the second largest population country in the world on global level is 46. It is a time for us to create a movement so that we can get a raising our innovation index in a single day. Friends, we have many challenges. You know, many it is a place of hunger. Today we have many challenges and that challenges create quality and that the innovation we are talking about. That innovation is operating for Make in India, Digital India, Skill India, Innovating India, तो ये इंफॉर्मेशन है क्योंकि मुझे नहीं लगता क्योंकि आज की जो नौकरी है जो IoT, basic knowledge, and many more because the industry sector has taken the lead, and we must have to mitigate that challenge. That challenge today, the media has report that nothing we must have to reorient as for the demand of the market, then we will get it wrong. So it is a time that is key, innovation and entrepreneurship, so that we can integrate our own challenge. Right? When it comes to program the government of India, nobody talks about that. Because everyone knows that. But how we can create a each of that is the lead of the one. That's because you want to how you work and mitigate the challenge of intellectual property. I think some of the examples you can see how we are putting together. You can see almost आप अपने पुराने दिन को याद करो कितना 2020 ये almost पाते थे ये almost पता है ये अलग academic they can help the process and create digital children those one that is an innovation you can see and at that time there are the ring of hope that we are doing they will be useful for to be present and to become people are looking at your side. Let's say you can see both that we are coming and today millions of the nation will get benefit. That is the innovation. That is nothing but bringing excellence together. And that is the program we are talking about. The lady not standing life to make it is not and getting the royalty from the students and that's the innovation. That's not what you give you one student, give you opportunity of leadership and also acknowledge in the knowledge system. So we must sacrifice our root. The root, your GIET. This is a institution from where you are to the market. Strengthen our root system. क्योंकि जिस पेड़ का जितना अच्छा रूट हो रहा है, वो ना दमदार होता है. You need to support them, inculcate them, and also manage them. That is the need of the hour. That's the role of benefit society. That's the ecosystem we need to create, and also leverage, and also we must
here. क्योंकि इस देश को ये बुक का इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं चाहिए, इस देश को स्किल चाहिए, इनोवेशन चाहिए. The beautiful Indian Bollywood movie about also. You must have watched this very friends, we must create that innovation house. Always beautiful. Start with humble factory, time will come, it will make more opportunity, more economic, also scale up education, getting back to the society and lessons. So we talked about academic leadership around this. What industry is looking, academic leadership must look into that so that they can demand the market. That's the plan, that's the opportunity. Because this, you can see Apple, Steel, Disney, Amazon, these are the systems that are very small between where they are playing again globally, nationally, internationally, and in knowledge process, knowledge process, knowledge intensive organizations in the knowledge society. Friends, innovate the two generations over from less and more so that our innovation starts to be and the lesson is now we are now and he is creating a challenge of innovation in many process and many business are using from his entrepreneurship. Let's join hand and also program it to the nation. I hope we have a lot of strategy issues. You must be from the fixing on the person is none other than you can see that and realize how he is playing an important role in mitigating the challenge of Indian army in this area. So next we have to understand also women because just as this is one day engineer, tomorrow you will be a mother, and hopefully you are going to create a one child and have that about women scientists. You know, women scientists they are now speaking, and one of the scientists yesterday talked about wisdom. That's what we that's the talk about and that's the program we have to keep the role we have to we must correct about we have to mitigate the China because innovation is always market driven. So we must look at that and we must put and to create so that we can get a challenge of the society and also the country. And I will say, with some of the slides I made, if you are coming to my office, if I operate this office, I will pay. Can you pay? Can you raise your hand? That means you are coming to BDP. That's the environment. Started in 99% will not pay because what is inside no one knows. Such will starting this by seeing the ground, by seeing the logo, your trust will come and you can be just very or teacher and there is nothing on the brand protection. We need to protect, we need to have it because Odisha is somehow surrounded by very important brand. Those who are making it also not something they must protect the product quickly at least that all the so if we drop it down and promote these communities mind that's our and that's our of the government of India. is also a friends, Sujit came from the Bharat and the government officer. That means we are killing the output the real of people. So we need to promote, we need to protect every different indication of group. Then only we can make a difference coming to God. That's our vision, that's our mission, that's what we teach of society and also export the technology to the long society. So that's how we are proud for the innovation industry. One woman can be a leader who can create a job. Any number of people, opportunity, let's get a job and not do a job suited. So I going to speak some of the slides, but certainly I'll tell you, in this time of COVID, we have a greater responsibility in coming out the very innovation, testing, speaking of COVID-19, so that our people are let's run, let's have the friends. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. God bless you. Jai Hind. Any student who needs internship, you are requested to talk to us so that we will select on the best of the speed. Your speed, I will know. And any student who are because practically you have to deal with the situation, but certainly you are most welcome. Thank you, friends. And such capacity hall, you have one place again.
Thank you so much, sir. Indeed, your lines reminded me of a movie called Pushpa, where you mentioned about the water bottle and you were mentioning and telling about the brand, and instantly I thought about the movie Pushpa. Thank you so much, sir, for because over there I particularly don't remember about the dialogue what he said, but I personally recall that movie. Thank you so much, sir, mentioning about the various campaigns and various startups which is done by the Government of India and the flagship programs which almost all the youth should know. Thank you so much, sir, again. Now, I will like to take the permission from our honorable dignitaries and guests for the unveiling of the proceedings from the National Conference. A huge round of applause from the audience end. Now, I request Dr. NVJ Rao, sir, Registrar, GIET University, to present the memento to Dr. Sujit Pruseth, former professor, to as the token of love from the organizing committee. Please, sir. I request Dr. Chandra Dhwaj Panda, Vice President, Sir, GIET University, to present the memento to Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu, Supervision Manager for NRDC, PISC, as a token of love from the organizing committee. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Dr. Manoj Das, sir, Professor in charge, GIET University IPR Cell, to please kindly say the vote of thanks. Please, sir.
Good afternoon to all. It is my great privilege and pleasure to offer vote of thanks to this august gathering on the eve of World IP Day special ceremony and National Conference on Innovation, Intellectual Property Rights and Entrepreneurship being organized by GIET University Gunupur in collaboration with National Research Development Corporation, Govt of India. On behalf of the organizing committee and GIET University, I would like to thank the chief guest of this function, Cmde Amit Rastogi, Chairman and Managing Director, NRDC, Govt of India, for accepting our invitation and for his kind presence in online mode and grace the function with inaugural address. Once again, we are thankful to you, sir. I am thankful to Dr. S.P. Panda, sir, Honorable President, GIET University, though he is not available for us today due to his busy schedule. He is a man of visionary with great personality. His blessing always with us. I offer my thanks to Dr. C.D. Panda, sir, Honorable Vice President of GIET University, for his kind presence in this function. His valuable address on IPR was quite informative and interesting also. I am thankful to Dr. Mohit Gambhir, sir, Innovation Director, Ministry of Education, Govt of India, for his nice and illuminating talk on World IP Day conclave. He explained on knowledge, education, and innovation, which is quite useful for us. I am thankful to Mr. Ravi Viswarapu, Head and CEO, Incubation Center, Andhra University, for sharing his practical experience of industry and importance of startup for the students. His presentation was quite informative. My thanks go to Dr. Sujit Pruseth, former professor, Indian Institution of Public Administration, for his highly informative presentation on global IP governance to educational ecosystem for innovations. My special thanks to Dr. Bijay Kumar Sahu, sir, Regional Manager and Head, V4 Technology Innovation Center, Visakhapatnam. He came all the way from Vizag to Gunupur by road. He has given a very nice presentation on IP and youth innovating for a better future. He is always extending his helping hand to us, and we hope that under his guidance, our faculties and students could be able to go for patent on their innovations and ideas. We have made MOU with NRDC, so any kind of help you require from NRDC, they are ready to guide us. This function is possible due to support of NRDC only. We are thankful to you, sir. I am thankful to our lovable Registrar Sir, Dr. Bijay Rao, who has given constant support in every point of time for the successful organization of the function. Thanks to Dr. Tushar Panda, Professor in charge, Innovation Hub, GIETU, and convener of this function for successful organization of this national conference on the eve of World IP Day. I am also thankful to press and media personnel for their presence and requesting them for wide publicity of this function in different dailies. On behalf of the organizing committee, I am thankful to all the authors who have contributed their papers for the technical session. Last but not the least, I am thankful to all the faculties who are directly or indirectly involved for successful organization of the functions, and also to student volunteers for their active role in a nice management of the function. Also thankful to all audience for their patience hearing. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. Now, I'll request all of you to kindly please raise up from your seat for the national anthem. Thank you so much. Now we have come to the end of the World Intellectual Property Day special ceremony and National Conference on the Innovation, Intellectual Property Rights and Entrepreneurship, sponsored by ISTE and Institute of Engineers. Well, we have the second afternoon session as the technical session, so I request all of you to please join in the afternoon session. Thank you all.